you very much, directors of ceremony. Our chief guest today, Honorable Jeanette Bayisenke, Minister for Public Service and Labor, Honorable Minister for ICT and Innovation, Paula Ingabire, Permanent Secretary, Mifotra, Mr. Gaspard Msonera, senior government officials here. I've seen several DGs in our midst. Brother African, Secretary General Sestra, and on behalf also of all the workers in the room, representative from PSF, Mayor Seat of Kigali, development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is such an honor and privilege for me to speak before this assembly on the celebration of International Labour Day 2024 and the official launch of the Digital Economy Project for Rwanda. I would like to thank you for your presence on a day that you would otherwise would have been resting with your families, and rightly so. It is a public holiday globally, but here we have gathered a very good group. All I can say is this is testimony to the interest that you have shown on the subject that has been well elaborated around the theme of the day, but captured within the promotion of decent work and social justice agenda. As we celebrate the day today and the role and contribution of workers, we note that despite good progress recorded in many countries in this post-recovery phase, access to productive and decent employment remains a major challenge as multiple geopolitical crises continue to confront the world. Promoting decent work and social justice enables every woman and man to access productive, remunerative, and freely chosen employment. And this is a joint responsibility of all the constituents of the ILO, as well as other partners. That is why the Global Accelerator on Jobs and Social Protection for Just Transitions, initiated by the United Nations Secretary General, is so much relevant for Rwanda. Why am I saying this? The Global Accelerator offers sustainable and integrated solutions to tackle multiple crises the world of work faces, and to create a vicious cycle of sustainable development where combined investments in social protection and decent job creation generate high economic and social returns and facilitate a transition to a resilient, sustainable, and inclusive economy. It envisaged three mutually supportive areas of work. One, in-country development of integrated and coordinated employment and social protection policies and strategies. Two, establishment of national financing frameworks and mobilization of public and private, domestic and international resources to invest in universal social protection and inclusive environment and gender-responsive employment interventions. Three, improvement of multilateral cooperation on jobs and social protection for just transitions, including with international financial institutions, to provide more coordinated support at country level. Based on existing policies and strategies and ongoing and planned programs, the joint UN scoping mission to Rwanda on the Global Accelerator identified three possible entry points or acceleration points for Rwanda. Number one, formalizing the and digitizing the urban economy. Number two, modernizing and greening the agriculture and achieving food security. And number three, achieving gender equality through investments in the care economy. The next steps would be the development of a roadmap based on these entry points and or to identify what actions need to be taken. And we look forward to the leadership of MIFOTRA, as well as other ministries, including Ministry of Finance, on the same. I appreciate the relevance of the theme of International Labour Day 2024, which talks about fostering youth-led employment. It is reassuring to note that the constant commitment of Rwanda is mobilized by the desire to promote and implement the decent work and social justice agenda at national level. In that light, we are happy to encourage government of Rwanda through Ministry of Public Service and Labor, SESTRA, and PSF to join the Global Coalition for Social Justice. And I was just chatting with Honorable Minister that for the government, this is already work in progress. That way, the partners in this global coalition that include so far 54 governments, 65 workers' organizations, 27 employers' organizations, 16 international organizations and bodies, 17 regional organizations and bodies, 19 international NGOs, 15 research and academic institutions, as well as 6 selected private sector companies come together to confront the global challenges related to rising inequalities, exclusion, disparities, climate change, digital transformations, and you can all add on to the list. It is worth noting that Rwanda is implementing various employment, skills development, and entrepreneurship interventions at country level. And in that regard, I'm also happy to note, as we are launching today, that we are collaborating on this joint program on boosting decent jobs and enhancing skills in the digital economy. The program's goal is to maximize decent employment opportunities for young people across all the 6 pilot countries. To tailor-make the program to the needs of Rwanda, the program has been engaging in wide stakeholder consultations to come up with a work plan that would reflect the priorities of the country. This, with the generous support from the government of Luxembourg and the program that we are fully launching today, I look forward really to its achievement of the stated objectives. In addition, and we were talking about it, Honorable Minister, the international conference of the Global Initiative on Decent Jobs for Youth to be held in Rwanda here on 22 to 23 May 2024 under the theme Young, Green, and Digital also lends support and coordinated support to this area of work in line with the theme of today. The 2024 edition of the Global Conference will bring together government representatives, social partners, young people, academia, many other stakeholders to engage in structured dialogue about the effective and innovative youth employment investments in the green and digital economies and how we can maximize the opportunities that come out of it. As I conclude, I would like to wish all of us a really happy Labor Day, but until that, fruitful discussions in the sessions that we have gathered here for. I thank you, Murakoze Chan.
I want to acknowledge the valuable presence of our esteemed partners in skills development and employment promotion, including the ILO Regional Office, esteemed colleagues from various government institutions, dynamic youth entrepreneurs, our esteemed development partners, and other stakeholders. I also extend my appreciation to each one of you for gracing this significant occasion with your presence and for your unwavering support in advancing youth employment initiatives. It is my pleasure and honor to participate in this launch of Employment Promotion Month. discussing youth employment programs, including the Digital Skills for Youth Employment project. Youth employment is a core mandate of the Ministry of Youth and Arts. Actually, our ministry is no longer My Culture. It's not Mini Youth. It's called the MOYA. It's the Ministry of Youth and Arts. In collaboration with our partners, important programs have been initiated, and these programs have been yielding tangible results. The first crucial exercise that we conducted in the ministry before deploying any job interventions was to deeply understand different subsets of our youth. More young people in Rwanda, they live in rural areas, and their education levels differ. They vary considerably. We also have a significant number of vulnerable youth, including young teenage mothers who need our particular attention. We have young people who have been, who were exposed to drugs, and sometimes when they have been rehabilitated, we have to think of the jobs to them also. Regarding employment, we have seen the data. The youth unemployment rate has been up and down, but it has never been below 19%. So we still have a big challenge to find jobs for youth. The Ministry of Youth and Arts has identified job creation interventions that may target educated youth, less educated, vulnerable youth, and both in rural and urban areas. In programs such as public works and road maintenance of rural feeder roads, we have seen young people, well educated to the level of being engineers, capable of working together with less educated youth. And when we go to the field and we meet them, they testify that their lives have improved and they have created savings that can sustain themselves even after the project stops. This serves as an example that it is possible to design an inclusive, cost-effective, and sustainable job creation project. That's why working with the WASAC and Ministry of Infrastructure, we are also exploring, we have explored how to also get the jobs in the water maintenance, and we are even asking the Rwanda Housing Authority how young people can get access to public houses maintenance, because we have seen that young people in different categories, they can work together to get decent jobs. Competitions such as Youth Connect Awards and the Hunger Pitch, championed by the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, they have provided young people with seed funding to boost their businesses. Tracer surveys that we have conducted in the last decade of Youth Connect have shown that more than 85% of young people who benefited from Youth Connect Awards have grown their businesses and they are employing their fellow youth. Actually, Youth Connect idea is even expanding beyond Rwanda. It is reaching now more than 30 countries in Africa. Recently, the Ministry of Public Service and Labor has been really a key partner supporting a significant part of the awards given to youth. We thank you and your partners for this support. The successful young people who have won the Youth Connect Awards and who are employing other youth have recently asked the ministry to design another accelerator program to boost productivity and employment for fellow youth. And I want to tell the young people who have been successful in their businesses with a history of Hunger Pitch or Youth Connect Awards that we are exploring the options, and with our partners we have many possibilities to start this accelerator program very soon. We have another category of young people who are right from schools who have expressed that they don't have business to compete in the Youth Connect Awards or in the Hunger Pitch. They only have ideas. They only have innovative ideas. With our partners, We developed the Aguka program. In English, it's called Expand. So we developed the Aguka program where only ideas are required. So we work with the qualified trainers. For example, we work with the Norsken, we work with the Tony Elmel Foundation to train these young people with ideas, to refine those ideas into businesses. And the most successful in trainings get a glimpse of seed funding as well. Actually, when we were discussing the progress of Aguka with the Minister Paula, we joked that we have Hanga in the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, and we have Aguka in the Ministry of Youth and Arts, and finally we have Ambuka in the Development Bank of Rwanda, BRD. So you can easily, young people can Hanga in ICT, they can Aguka in Moya, and they can Ambuka in BRD. So these are cool products in our ministries where young people who are ready to do the work, who can tap into the opportunities, can use. Regarding digital skills, technology has been an enabler of job creation in Rwanda, thanks to our country's political decision to make technology the main driver of our economic development. Initiatives like Irembo for government services, extensive efforts to establish IT infrastructures nationwide, digitalizing health services, training citizens via digital ambassadors, digital payments using mobile money, digital solutions to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, and other services have provided numerous job opportunities for our young people. To harness digital skills for youth employment, the Ministry of Youth and Arts is committed to playing an important role. For example, in this month of May with the UNICEF, we will launch a digital training website, Passport to Earning, and we call it ingazi.rw. For those who have your phones, you can just ingazi.rw. It will be a platform to learn the basics of computer skills and job-specific skills with links to job opportunities both in Rwanda and overseas. We have been discussing with the Ministry of ICT that we need to have a link where we can link all digital learning platforms to facilitate Rwanda youth to access all learning platforms in one platform, a kind of all-in-one platform. So this is something we need to do, and with this new project, I think it is better to have all-in-one digital learning platforms so that when you are on Ingazi, you can easily access the ones in ICT, and it's not that complicated. For effective business activities for youth, we have seen also young people using digital tools with support from our partners. We have a partner, Catholic Relief Services, who is supporting rural youth in small businesses to use ICT. For example, the tools like Kudi Books, Kudi Learn, Kaiko, they have been developed for the young people to use in their small businesses in rural zones. And this also is believed to increase the business profitability of the young people. For young people in the creative arts, and I want to tell everybody in the room that our ministry has the mandate for the youth, but also we are in the creative arts and the culture. So we need also to consider that in job creation, also in digital skills. So for young people in the creative arts, we are committed to supporting initiatives in digital arts, such as visual arts using digital skills. And for learning, recently young people in the Commonwealth have been given free access to Trace Academia. I always put this on my social medias for the young people to access this. Trace Academia is, and I think we have a Rwandan also who is reading Trace music. So Trace Academia is a platform. It is mainly on the Android phone. You can learn some skills such as how to become a DJ. I was talking about becoming a DJ. So you can learn how to become a DJ, you can do 3D designs, fundamentals of computer-aided music and others. So if you're in a room and you have your Android phone, but also on iOS, you can also download that. It's called Trace Academia, and you can easily access some courses. It's up to the youth to grasp all these digital opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, let me emphasize some areas of improvement in our bid to equip our young people with the right skills to meet market demand. All of us in government, private, and development partners, we need to join efforts to prevent early school dropouts. With early school dropouts, it's very difficult to have adults that can create jobs for themselves, but to whom we can create jobs. We need to strengthen the linkage between our education, our trainings, and labor market, and thus we can improve employability of our youth, particularly disadvantaged ones, those who didn't go to school, those vulnerable, those with disabilities. For this to happen, more emphasis needs to be given to access to quality education that provides youth with not only technical and vocational skills, but also core employability skills such as soft skills. The promotion of work-based learning and on-the-job training, counseling, and career guidance. Active labor market programs targeting vulnerable youth are also needed. I am convinced that if collective efforts are made in these specific areas, they will contribute directly to reducing the challenges faced by youth in the labor market, for the youth particularly. With the right mindset and tapping into available opportunities that our country offers, self-employment or getting a job is possible. It is not easy, but it is possible. It starts with having a growth mindset that creates the desire and the confidence that you can learn new things and grow bigger than you are today. Urubyiruko, ikintu cyonyine kimaze kugaragara, for example, n'uyu mushinga wa IT batweretse, hari umujene ujya uvuga ngo nitwicare tugire dute. Twicare tugire dute. Umujene yitwa Sky ajya avuga ngo twicare twige. Hano harimo opportunities to learn new digital skills, and new digital skills means new jobs. Of course, we are afraid, and maybe Minister Paula will clear the air. We are scared about the AI, the generative AI, the super AI, and tuziko technology irimo kuzikadutwara akazi. So probably igomba no kudufasha kubona kenshi. So that's the thing that we expect. Maybe you're gonna clear the air, because whatever we are trying to do, there is a technology. The ChatGPT is doing our concept notes. So we used to do the concept note the whole day, 2 days. Now you put in the ChatGPT and you have the concept note. So how are we going to survive with this tool? So you need to clear the air. And I end my remarks by thanking the Minister of Public Service and Labor and other government institutions, as well as our development partners who organized this important platform to discuss this relevant topic of skills and work for the youth. I thank you and wish you a happy Labor Day.
Francois, I liked your presentation. You talked about new occupations, new skills, and the question is to us, if the labor market is changing over time, and you have young people here who are still at school, others are graduating, where will jobs come from? Which skills that will be needed so that I don't go to PhD and I finish my first PhD, the second one, and still everything's changing, you know. So how will artificial intelligence, how will technology change the way we work, and how can we adopt? This is what we are going to discuss now. So Francois, with the skills background, I want you to tell us which skills our youth will need for them to be employed in the next years to come.
Thank you for that is the most difficult question. And no one is expected to have a conclusive answer. But what is known is the skills which are foundational and transferable across occupations will make a difference. mostly interpersonal skills, communication, and creative thinking. It's like those foundational skills that will help someone to navigate through those waves of changes. Those are going to be very important and determinant and making a difference. Digital skills are part of the transferable skills.
So while you are still on the, now let's narrow down to the digital skills, since we are discussing about the digital skills for the digital economy. Francois, with the current trend in digital, in the global digital opportunities, I know there are youth here who are already doing global digital jobs. So do you foresee any new adjustment in the employment policies? Just to link it with the perspective you are bringing on digital skills.
Definitely. Starting with learning and education policies, there is a very crucial need to incorporate micro-learning. How the skill someone is learning through these platforms is part of the recognized way of learning. That needs to start from like yesterday. That is very key, and many countries have already started. And having a clear way of knowing and accrediting the skills someone would have learned through digital skills is going also to shape the way of learning in future skills.
So thank you so much, and now we go to the emerging technologies. You know, according to the OECD report, some jobs are being taken over by technology, but also more jobs are being created. But we need to create readiness. I give an example. I saw DGRTB. We have many graduates in mechanics engineering. Some of them, especially, have been graduating to, and the skills they have just to use traditional way of repairing cars. And now we have hybrid cars, electric cars. So how can we create ready youth to cope up with the emerging technologies, and they don't just graduate to go for reconversion. We graduate to go for another reconversion. So how does the Ministry of ICT envision to enable the country to tap into digital job opportunities and turn those challenges into opportunities?
Thank you very much, Foster. I think Francois started talking about it, but in one of the biggest vision we have for ICT and for Rwanda is for Rwanda to become an ICT hub. And for that you need a digitally skilled workforce for a country to be an ICT hub as a whole. So some of what we are looking at today is that now, because digital has become almost part of our everyday life, and I think even in the different presentation we've seen it, that it's going into all the traditional jobs, it's very important that we think about, and we are thinking about how we start looking at reskilling and upskilling people in different fields. And here, this is where we also started building a digital skills council, where we hope this is going to be a one-stop center platform where we can bring together people who provide training, people who provide jobs, to be able to understand what is the mismatch there and how can we bridge that gap. And we're currently working with different providers like Cisco to understand how we can build those learning pathways. So we think in bridging that gap, we'll be able to consistently make sure that people are reskilled as they are working through their jobs. The second point is that, for example, and here we've talked about AI and several people have talked about it. And that's why we always try to look at emerging technology and putting in place and start to do policies and strategies to look at this technology. For example, for AI, we've looked at it and found that if we were to harness its potential in Rwanda, we would add almost about 6% to our GDP. But that means that we need to be skilled in that technology and be able to use it across different fields for us to actually get there. So that means that you cannot add GDP if you're not creating jobs, if you're not creating revenue somehow, somewhere. And then the other part that we've also looked at is how do we also create innovation hubs across the country. So we now have about 7 innovation hubs that we want to be able to continue support entrepreneurs that are in the technology field, and what Minister of Youth was talking about in equipping those entrepreneurs with grants, financing, but also services that enable them to strengthen and be resilient in their businesses, and thus create also jobs going forward. But one observation is that for a young person today, you can expect that your career would significantly change 2 or 3 times in the course of your work lifetime. So it's important that we find ways to significantly upskill ourselves and reskill ourselves as we go through this transition.
So, Esther, thank you. The Minister of Youth has advocated for the language that youth can understand, not just talking about concept, strategies, and policies. Yes, they are there, but we are going to narrow down to earth and tell our youth which opportunities that we have in our digital economy that the youth present here can access or can be supported by the project of ILO to access and get rich. This is what they are dreaming.
Good.
Please.
So, bivuge no mu Kinyarwanda actually.
Yeah, please.
So, hari ibikorwa bitandukanye dufite. Minister yabivuze amakompetisiyo yo kugira ngo dufashe ba rwiyemezamirimo bari gutangira kwihangira imirimo nka Hanga Pitch Fest, ariko n'izi Hanga Hubs twagiye turi kugenda twubaka mu zindi district zitandukanye z'u Rwanda. Ni ukugira ngo nimba uyu munsi ufite igitekerezo uhaguruke ujya aho hantu wungurana ibitekerezo, uhure n'abandi ba jeune mwungurana ibitekerezo. Nimba ufite SME ndetse even na boutique isanzwe, uyu munsi dufite ikintu cyitwa AFCFTA, aho at a global level turi kureba ni gute ikintu twakora e-commerce ibashe gushoboka muri Afrika yose. Uyu munsi rero niho usanga if you're an SME wige gushyira ibintu byawe online kuri Instagram, you advertise kuri e-commerce platforms. Nimba ufite restaurant uhamagare vuba vuba bagushyireho. Nimba ufite umushinga wo korora inkoko, hari platform ya e-commerce igufasha kugera ku bakiriya. Nimba ufite ibirayi, hari platform yitwa Afri Farmers igufasha kugera ku bakiriya. So ku muntu wese ufite igitekerezo hari ibyo bikorwa ndetse, and I think Gary will also talk about it, kuri skills not in Kinyarwanda but on global business services. Easy, you go online ugafasha umuntu uri muri Amerika, muri India troubleshooting a computer, ukamufasha gukora flight. Hari abandi bari kuri platform aho bafasha interpretation of documents. You need to have izo skills. Hari abanyarwanda bari gukora bari kubona income because of those skills that they're having every single day. So we have different partners who do the trainings. So if you're a young person and you need training in any of those jobs, we're happy to connect you with the trainer. If you want to know which platform, we are happy to do. As Francois said, you need to have communication, creative thinking, and then you can be a digitally skilled workforce.
Thank you so much. And we are with DGRTB here who can also share some opportunities, training opportunities. Please, young people, if you are here and you think you can get opportunities, don't miss this opportunity. You can always connect with people who can help to orient or reorient your career. So, and I know we shall have some people here in the audience who might even be already exploiting this global business opportunity, these digital global opportunities. If they are here, they can also give testimonies. Now we go to to Mr. Gary Barnett. Now you're going to tell us, because you're already doing this in a tech expert.
Mm-hmm.
What role does business global services play in providing employment opportunities for youth? And you may even highlight avenues for work readiness training partnerships that can be friendly, that can be youth friendly, and that are really achievable.
Yeah,
Please.
no worries. Morning, everybody. For the Minister of Youth and his TikTok army, Global Business Services represents jobs and money. So we are the end game, I guess, of the training programs, of what Ministry of ICT does, what ILO do. So Global Business Services, outsourcing, we employ and we skills train. So the easiest way to think of it, when you phone MTN are a mobile provider. Their job is handsets and network and tariffs. Providing the service afterwards isn't necessarily their core. So Global Business Services, when you phone MTN, you don't speak to MTN. You speak to a company like Tech Experts who provide that service for MTN. In my world, what does that mean? Think Microsoft. So Microsoft is one of our biggest clients, and we provide global support for Microsoft. For you, for enterprise, for data centers. So you raise a case because you've got a problem with a Microsoft product, that comes to us. Now, the key to that is we don't make anything. So we aren't producing shirts or shoes. So what we invest in is people. So you can start with Tech Experts and you can be supporting consumer products. So the stuff that we use, Xbox. Someone's got a problem with their Fast and Furious, we'll fix it for them. So you start with consumer, so you've got your IT degree, you can communicate like the panel have been saying, and then you've joined Tech Experts, you support consumer. Once you get good at that, we will train you. We will invest in you, we will get you to support Microsoft 365 products. You're now supporting cloud, you're now supporting Office, Enterprise, and you're supporting enterprise customers with their cloud. Once you've got into that for a couple of years, you can then move to Azure, so you can support data center back-end products, and then ultimately, from the perspective of what we do here in Rwanda, right the way through to Dynamics. So you are almost being a programmer. So you're supporting Dynamics CRM, Dynamics financial service products, and you are growing your career all the way along. So from a GBS perspective, a global business service perspective, you're growing your skills and what you are doing as you're working. So your jobs and your money. You won't do it forever. You don't have to follow just technology. You can become a quality analyst. You can become a team leader. You can become an operations manager. So it's a bit like joining the army, but you don't have to kill people. So you've got a variety of jobs you can go to and skills you can grow. And as you do that, you grow your earning potential. And ultimately, you'll find a different thing you want to go and do. You want to be that entrepreneur. You want to be something else. Because the core to it is being able to communicate with people, having the ones and zeros in your head to be able to solve problems. So there's that creativity we've talked about. And you will grow your skills in your career. And if I've got 2 minutes to give you a practical example of that, Tech Experts started in Rwanda in 2021. And most of the time, as ever, when we talk to our clients about doing business out of Rwanda, you have to do all the myth busting about it's not just guerrillas and tourism and genocide and those kind of things. So we talk about what really is possible here. So we started with 50 engineers doing 2 lines of business. 3 years later, we're now nearly 700 engineers doing 32 lines of business, which is everything from technical through to customer relationship management for global tech companies. So the GBS thing is really relevant and it creates scale. So it's not just me, there are the need for digital literacy in companies that provide services like MTN, so global mobile support. You need to be digital literate. You're going to be at a computer, you're going to be using it, you're going to be using Windows, multiple screens, billing engines, so you need to understand it. You don't need to be as technical necessarily, but you have to have that ability and that ability to communicate.
So, Mr. Bat, that is very interesting. Now, to the language that youth can easily understand, you're
Jobs
also
and money.
going to speak slowly.
Slowly.
Yes. So
That's your first test. If you don't understand me.
So now, what advice? Because you are talking to the youth now, what advice would you offer, especially to youth aspiring to start their professional and entrepreneurship career in digital jobs? Now you're going to tell the youth.
I'm going to tell them, and slowly. For me, and we've talked about changes in the job marketplace, the real big change for me, and especially in our world, is if you want to be a nuclear scientist, absolutely, know about nitrogen and hydrogen and go sit in a room and do that. But for most of the jobs that we're talking about here, especially the entrepreneurial jobs, it has to be more than the certificate you leave university with. You've got to be able to sit with somebody, sell what you are if you're an entrepreneur, sell who you are if you're looking for a job, and communicate. So those communication skills, and we've talked about it a number of times on the panel here, that ability to communicate, and if there are any educators, academia in the room, Minaduk, we need the universities on board to not just give people certificates. A certificate in digital skills is not going to get you a job if you can't sit with me or with Esther or with someone and talk about why you want that job and be enthusiastic about it and creative about it. The universities have 3 years of captive audience to be able to give those skills as well, and some universities do it very well. But certainly those communication, those interpersonal skills are as key as having the ones and zeros in your head. Unless you're going to be a nuclear physicist, then go learn about nitrogen. But for the things that we're talking about here, although we're talking digital, the key to digital is still people. The AI thing will change jobs, but it will change jobs, not get rid of jobs. In my world, I'm young and youthful, I know that, but I have worked for a few years. So before we were going to have speech recognition, was going to kill the call center industry. Never did. Changed jobs, took away some of the dull bits of it, but did not kill it. So we had lots of technology that was going to change things hugely. It won't. It will change, but it'll change in some ways for good. So we use AI sometimes for our case handling, but what you find with AI, where it is at the moment, if I ask the questions in the right order, AI will give the answer to be able to help a customer. If I come on the phone like your grandma and goes, my computer doesn't work, AI hasn't got a clue, because AI can't ask questions. AI can't empathize with that customer and go, I'm ever so sorry, Granny, we'll get your tax return sorted. So AI will get there, but it will just change jobs, not eradicate jobs.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Now we go to the trade union. You are advocating for employees is the primary mandate of trade union. And one of the major components of decent work is having employment contract, having social dialogue, having ABCD, as we know. Some people argue that the global digital opportunities don't mind about those stories, because you don't even meet your employer. You don't have a specific, sometimes you don't have a specific contract. Sometimes you don't know whether the employer is, and you only need to perform the job and you get the job. So just to mention, so there are some challenges related to these global trends of technology. So how do you think this challenge will affect the world of work, and what would you advocate for? Because we have policymakers here, we have different organizations. So we need to be sure that the world of work of today and tomorrow will not change the goodness that we have today in terms of employment, in terms of employees and so on. Please.
Thank you, Faustin. That is an interesting question. Of course, we are talking about employment, and if we are talking about creating jobs among the youth, it is because the youth, it is where the hope is for the future. So the country always ratify conventions to ensure that the international labor standards are respected in those employment relations or even business relations that youth are encouraged to carry on. So of course it is challenging, because even the Minister of Youth has said it, that the youth, their mindset is just about what to do and how much. I don't really care about all the terms of the relationships. And whether you know it or not, it binds you. So it is really important that as a youth, you have to know, in performing my activity, what are my rights and what are the responsibilities, to ensure that you're also protecting your career, that will make you gain more jobs in the future. So the challenges are always categorized into the 4 pillars of decent work, because the decent work, it talks about those productive jobs. For them to be productive, of course, they have to be well-paying, and social dialogue. It provides an environment where the employees have to discuss with the employer so that they can agree on the terms, on the environment that will make both parties gain. The third one is about social protection. We all know that learning from the experience of COVID-19, we all saw that after 2 or 3 days where people are locked down into their homes, majority of people couldn't go out to work. So people needed to ask. They didn't have anything to cater for the basic needs. Why? Because they didn't really, they were consuming, but they didn't really care for the future. So this is very important because no one can predict the future, but also the youth specifically, they really care about the present, not the future. Yet the country is really leaning on the future for the economic growth of the country. So, and then the rights at work. This is what you have been talking about. People in this environment of the digital economy, it is digital. It is less written. So there is no employment contract, there is no leave, there is no social security contribution, there is no, all of those things, they provide an environment through which everyone will perform and contribute to the productivity. So as we are here with the policymakers, please make sure that in those relationships, we are creating more jobs for now, but also making sure that for the future, our people, what they have produced, what they have gained now, it will help them in the future.
So thank you so much, Fatima. In the ILO's perspective, we've just we're about to launch the project on harnessing digital skills for youth employment. 1, what will youth get practically from the project, and what could you ask them for them to make use of these opportunities and benefit from this very, very good project?
Thank you so much, Foster. So in terms of practically what the youth will get from the project, as was presented, the project will be supporting entrepreneurs who have ideas and want to start businesses in the digital economy, but also will be supporting the businesses that are already there to even grow more. And I understand, from meeting with partners that there are challenges for, the established business in terms of accessing specific amount of finance for them to have, that next step of growth. So we'll be supporting the businesses across different sizes, startups, established, as well. We are hoping also to work with global business services also, because that's an area where there is plenty of opportunities for the engagement of the youth. We'll also be providing digital skills practical training. When I say practical, I mean they are the top demanded in the market. So we'll be engaging in consultations, especially with the private sector and employers, on what are their priorities in terms of skills demanded. We will design curricula to address that. We will then basically roll that out. We will ensure that these digital skills are at digital literacy level, but also at intermediate and advanced level as well, to address the need in Rwanda and of course in the region and globally. So these are the practical bits. In terms of how the youth basically can engage more with us, I'll be happy. I shared my contacts to work closely with youth initiatives, youth groups, to ensure that their voice is reflected there. But I'd also want them to have that mindset, because when you were talking earlier about the opportunities that come with the AI. I recall similar sort of discussions and back in the day when the internet just started in the early 2000s, and then people would say that it would take over jobs and so on. So I see similar discussions now, but then it's amazing how maybe some jobs went, but then the whole sort of potential that opened up, content creator on YouTube making millions of dollars, the e-commerce, all of the move that came there. So for the youth, I want to leave a message that be optimistic about, the AI change, embrace it, try to learn it, and look how to utilize it for your career and growth as well.
Thank you so much. Now the last question is the challenging one, because it is yes or no. Why and how? So there is an endless global debate whether technology will create more jobs or will kill more jobs. I participated in this debate in the ILO global conference, and it took 2 days without conclusion. So, Francois, I start with you because you've been contributing to the creation of many jobs through national employment programs. Will technology kill many jobs or will create more jobs? Yes or no? Why? What can be done in 1 minute?
Definitely not.
Why?
It will not disrupt, but it will transform jobs. Meaning, the competence or the time required to perform the job will change, but the job will not change. But the job will transform. So it requires unlearning and learning in a lifelong learning approach.
So for you, it requires lifelong learning.
Yes.
I don't need copy and paste answers. So we go to ILO.
For me, it's 2 yeses. The first on the transforming, and I think that's a space for businesses, even in the traditional sector, to think how they can utilize the technology and the change to transfer basically how they do their business and hence open new opportunities. But then, I believe, as I shared my story earlier, that AI will, and technology generally, will open new opportunities, but then how the youth position themselves in a place where they can be observant of the change that they are happening. So technology, of course, there is the social engagement bit, but also how to think of it as an opportunity and stay observant and try to read the trends and trajectory of change. Yes.
Does it mean to create more jobs or less jobs?
Definitely more jobs.
More jobs. Esther?
Of course it will create more jobs.
How?
So, one, it will change, it will significantly change, and it has significantly changed the relationship between the employer and the employee on a day-to-day basis. But how it is going to change is, as each technology comes, we see completely new type of jobs coming. Today we have jobs in data centers, people in tourism, people in content creation, that are in music, that are changing the way they're working because of how technology is affecting them. So, but there's more work to be done, to be created. And I have one quick example. A long time ago, I used to work in Intel, and they killed one type of business, which was, I think, selling laptops. They fired about 30% of the workforce that they had. A month later, they advertised a higher number of people in the business of data centers, more than what they had fired. Almost 95% of the people who were fired could not be able to transfer jobs into that new business because they had not been reskilled or upskilled to cope with those new trends and those new jobs that are demanded. So in this new era, if you're in the workforce, you need to always know where the trends are going, upskill yourself, reskill yourself, as much as you can
So
every day.
there is a condition to create more jobs with a condition.
Yes.
Reskilling, upskilling, and lifelong learning. So we are going to the practitioner.
Feeling the pressure to say no now, just to be disruptive. But no, I can't say I can't create jobs, otherwise I don't have a job. That's not good. No, people need people. We saw that in COVID. The companies that grew the biggest in COVID were Zoom, Teams. People need people to connect. So that's always going to be the case. So technology will help it, but there will always be a need for you and I to interact. We're social human beings. So it will create more jobs, it'll create different jobs, and you're right, we'll have to adapt to be able to do that. You can't say no for sure.
Thank you. Of course, there are some jobs that will no longer exist, but I also agree that more jobs will be created. But it depends on the mindset and the attitude, and how are we ready to cope with the changing working environment. So in trade unions, we have what we call like youth teams, youth committees that ensure that they are following the labor market trends to ensure they are updating the youth on the likely changing that will happen in the near future. So I call upon the youth here to approach the trade unions in your respective field of work so that you get updated and you know what is coming on and you be able to adapt to the situation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know you might also have some insight about the debate we are doing, but the time is not on our side, you know. But of course, we've been talking about technology, youth employment, but what if I get employed? What is next? So will I spend 100% of my income and I just depend on spending? I want to call our panelists from the audience who is representing Sonarwa to talk about saving, because we are talking about youth challenges. One of the challenges, it is also the culture of saving. When you get employed, what is next? You need to save, or you need to spend everything you have and just enjoy life. So what is Sonarwa doing to promote safe and decent employment and financial inclusion to make sure that we get jobs, but the job does not just provide income for just consuming? Please.
Sonarwa Life is an insurance company founded in 2000. It started as a division of Sonarwa SA, but now due to the regulatory requirement of Central Bank, it has been transitioned to become a fully independent life insurance company. Allow me to say this, that as you were talking about employment, with the recent statistics, you know that insurance penetration in Rwanda is at 2%, excluding CBHI because of the medical insurance. So now I want to call up my fellow young people that opportunities are there. You imagine 2% penetration of insurance, and why do we think these people need the insurance? So as Sonarwa Life, we have a social impact. Thank you. We have a social impact investment program that was initiated by our CEO, Diana Mukunwa, and specifically for this social impact investment program. Thank you. With this social impact investment program, we have different pillars. We have 6 pillars in total. One of them is financial literacy, whereby we are partnering with different partners to make sure that we educate people what are different opportunities that are in banking industry. Why do people feel like or need this insurance? Well, we have another pillar called youth and women empowerment. Now that we are talking about youth, there is agents insurance network opportunity, whereby you can be recruited and start bringing money or making money for yourself. There is this InsurTech. Some of us are tech experts, or we are into software development. So if you have a solution, if you have a system that we feel can make an impact to the society, we as Sonarwa Life, we are willing to partner with you to make sure that we impact the society. Because when you look at the traditional or conventional insurance system, this is where people used to be learning after each individuals. But during COVID, Momo has proven us wrong. That you can serve someone not necessarily meeting with that person. So this is where now we need young people with those tech skills that they need to come on board, partner with us, we share experience, then we can be able to serve the whole community. We have education, social protection, food and agriculture, energy and environment sustainability. So all of these pillars, they are meant to make sure that we empower the community. Now, most of us, we are thinking of getting self-employed, getting employed, but what's next? As the moderator said, you need to be insured. Why? Because assume that you are doing a job, especially for this, I will call like sole proprietorship. When you are sick, your income is sick as well. Do you agree? I'm saying for reka mvuge mu Kinyarwanda ku bantu bikora ku giti cyabo. Iyo warwaye n'amafaranga aba yarwaye, sibyo? Kukura funga imiryango. Siko bigenda. But there is a product with insurance with the Sonarwa Life which allows you that mu gihe wagize ikibazo Sonarwa ishobora gukomeza kuguha amafaranga runaka w'insurance mu gihe utari uri kwa muganga. So it means that even if you are at the hospital, the family keeps supported. So that's why we feel that people need to be insured. So we have different products that make sure that yes, you are employed or you are self-employed, but again you are safe. Let me talk to...
Maybe without going into many details.
Yeah, sure.
We have Sonarwa Life. We need to get employed. Why do we need to get employed? We need to get healthier, wealthier, and richer. You can't be rich without saving. When you save, you also need to have a better future, and when you lose your employment, you need to get something else. So I think we can be brief and open also to other discussants. And you can also, if you need details about that, you can go to the Sonarwa social media platforms, and there is a lot of details you can get. So the message is, we work for a better life. And Sonarwa has life insurance. I think maybe you can conclude as we open the discussion for the audience.
Yeah, thank you. For conclusion, I'm with my fellow colleagues as the head of retail from retail, and we have information desk outside. So whoever feels like needs to be partnering with us, either as a customer or as a partner or as a technology enabler, we are willing to work with you. Thank you very much.
Jelas Chirove, representing IRO and other development partners, employers and employees organizations, CEOs and managers of various business companies, distinguished participants, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Mwanje kwirirwa, good afternoon. As we gather here today, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for honoring our invitation, which shows the importance you attach to the employment promotion and job creation, especially for youth. By the way, let me echo the MCs for thanking my colleague, Minister of Youth and Arts, for positive criticism. You see that you have started implementing your recommendations, and we are sure that next time we engage youth, that we organize event for youth, we'll make sure that you have a live music, and it's a youth-friendly environment. Today, on 1st of May, Rwanda once again joins the rest of the world in celebration of International Labor Day 2024. This year, as we reflect to the remarkable journey of the past 3 decades and reaffirm our steadfast commitment of future work, we have chosen the theme titled, I think you have been able to see it on the screen, 30 years fostering youth-led employment. Through this theme, we reflect on the milestones we have achieved and pledge to double efforts in shaping a productive labor landscape for our youth and the future of work. In the span of the 30 years, Rwanda has prioritized empowerment of its youth recognizing their pivotal role in the country's progress. Through a range of pro-employment and labor-intensive programs, Rwanda has witnessed a notable progress in job creation across various economic sectors. Youth employment has been at the forefront of these efforts, acknowledging their significance as primary workforce drivers of sustainable economic development. Rwanda's rapid expansion, I've seen the briefing presentation at the beginning, has been paralleled with significant job creation, which is a statement to the government of Rwanda, unwavering dedication to promoting employment for sustainable development. We have seen how jobs have, how the capacity of creating jobs has been increasing in the last 7 years of NST1, where we are nearly achieving the targets of NST1, which is to create 1.5 million jobs. Despite, of course, the significant loss we had due to COVID-19. Today signifies a momentous stride in our ongoing commitment to empower youth and capitalize on the already accumulated skills capital, mainly in ICT with necessary infrastructures, being prerequisites to tap into digital jobs opportunities which bear a great potential for youth employment. In our world undergoing rapid technological evolution, as we heard through our panelists, where industries and labor markets are being reshaped, it becomes imperative to empower our youth with required skills and opportunities for employment. Amidst the dynamic landscape of global economy, there exist numerous avenues for skills development and employment opportunities within digital industry. I think I cannot say it better than how the Minister of Youth and Arts put it by reminding us about Hanga, Aguka, and Ambuka. As a matter of fact, we have promising testimonies where one global businesses services, just one example, for one we had here, Tech Expert, which is employing around 600 employees. Employment in a digital economy is projected to continue growing, as discussed. However, the dynamic nature of technology necessitates consistent skills adaptation. Technical skills are vital, there is no doubt, but the ability to adapt, learn continuously, and think critically is equally essential for sustainable development in a digital era. Today's celebration is in alignment with the launch of the project, as you have been able to get the details about the project, to understand the key objectives of the project. This landmark initiative, born out of the collaboration between the government of Rwanda and International Labour Organization, holds the promise of devotionalizing employment paradigm for youth. I therefore would like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere appreciation to the ILO for continuous partnership in enhancing a decent job and employment for all, especially youth. Through this, we can clap for ILO and to all the partners who are here. Through this project, we aspire not only to augment jobs creation, entrepreneurship opportunities, but also to equip our youth with requisite skill essential to navigate the complexities of today's global labor market challenges. The government of Rwanda will continue to explore employment opportunities in all economic sectors, and the youth will remain at the center of employment initiatives such as employment mainstreaming, workplace learning, innovation, and entrepreneurial programs. Our achievements in the last 30 years are a result of collaborative efforts between the government of Rwanda, our different partners and stakeholders, where together we have been able to collectively respond to the evolving needs of the labor markets and create youth employment opportunities. To this regard, I would furthermore recommend all our stakeholders, the government institutions here present, development partners, private sector, workers, civil society organizations, for their invaluable contribution to employment promotion. Going forward, we need to reaffirm our respective commitment to push and realize the future of work agenda and youth employment in particular. I therefore would like to take this opportunity to call upon all of us to use lessons learned, build on success stories in the last 30 years, and reshape our interventions toward addressing today and future employment needs. As I conclude, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for your unwavering support and dedication to the cause of employment. May this Employment Promotion Month serve as an opportunity to all of us to renew our commitment toward making this work a reality. I wish you all an excellent Labor Day celebration and continued high productivity and expansion. Thank you very much.